Hello everyone, in this video I will share with you how I speak dolphin and how I communicate with them. And this video is inspired because I'm reading this fantastic book called How to Speak Whale by Tom Mostil, and I'll do a separate video on this book and what I learned from it as well. It's a very good book. It talks a lot about research on animal communication and specifically whale communication, but it's a lot larger than that. One of the main things that comes out of the book is that study of animal communication has been very much halted by the prejudice we have towards certain animals. One example that I can remember off the top of my head from this book is that for a very long time, animal behavioralists just assumed that female birds didn't sing. Turns out this is wrong, and this is thanks to also a lot of female scientists coming into the field and actually starting to study the feminine birds, the female birds. So we still have a lot to learn. I think the main conclusion from what I've read so far is that there's still so much to learn, and that we're still in the beginning stages of learning how animal communication works. And I think the most important part of this is to keep an open mind. Of course, I'm not going to give you a scientific view. I'm going to share with you my experience. As a scientist, you'd have to apply different parameters to prove your findings. I don't have to do that. I can just share with you my experiences of meeting the dolphins and communicating with the dolphins. So my first encounter with dolphins was in 2013 or 2014. It was in Bolivia. It was in a side river of the Amazon River, the Yakima River, and it was the pink sweetwater dolphins of the Amazon River that I met. And it was a very strong experience because I had a really psychic connection with these dolphins. They communicated with me, and I felt them, I heard them, I received their transmission and their language before I saw them in the river. So it was an experience that was not only very strong for me, but also that changed my life. And because I questioned what I was feeling or what I was hearing, or if I was imagining this, if I was making this up with my mind, they decided to give me proof, in the sense that they would say things like, if you turn the next bend in the river, then you will see two dolphins like 100 feet away from the boat. And then there would be two dolphins where they said they would. Or if you turn around and you look behind you now, there are 3 dolphins that will surface in a moment. And then I looked behind and there were 3 dolphins surfacing to the surface. They shared a lot of things with me at that moment. I'm not going to share the whole message. What they shared above all with me at that time was a message that I needed to hear, was about non-judgment. About how they don't have any judgment towards behaviors or people that we could think of as being toxic or unhealthy towards them or their environment, which was a big learning for me, because I had a lot of judgment towards people of whom I felt were not very respectful towards them. So I learned a lot. There was this fire lit within me, and a desire to meet them again and to meet different types of dolphins as well. I've always had a really good and easy connection with animals. I love animals. I love being around them. I love communicating with them. I love listening to them. Of course, anyone who's had an animal in their home or who is taking care of an animal knows that they communicate a lot of things. There are a lot of things that are communicated that bypass the need to share the same language. Dolphin communication is more precise, like their capacity to communicate is closer to ours, I would say, and closer to what I believe and what I feel a full spectrum human being is capable of communicating. So I'll explain more in a minute. So the dolphins that I'm very familiar with are the bottlenose dolphins and above all the spinner dolphins who live in the Red Sea in Egypt. So I go there every year. I've been going there for 10 years, I think now, and I meet them several times a year. And so I've started to build a relationship with them as well. And I truly feel that they are family. They are like soul family. And truly, they are dearer to me than some human beings. Not because there's a hierarchy, but I feel such love towards them. And I feel so welcomed when I'm in their presence, so happy to see them. And I feel that I get this in return as well. They're happy to see me. Because I've been recurring my visits and because I've been going back, I recognize some of the dolphins. They recognize me. And it's like they've become friends. Like when I see them, I tell them about my life. I tell them what's happened. And they tell me about what's happened in their life. And how does this communication work then? Well, above all, it's telepathic communication. I'd say that dolphins are really masters in telepathic communication. Although they do make a lot of sounds and they do make a lot of whistles, they, to me, communicate above all telepathically and intuitively. What I mean by that is that what I have always felt is that they project images into the water. And because I'm very sensitive, because I'm intuitive, and because I'm open to that kind of communication, I kind of sense those images and they get translated by my mind, by my brain, to translate them into a coherent language inside of me. So it's not that I can actually hear them talk, like you would hear a human being talk, or sometimes, when you have a connection to the spirit world, you can actually hear certain things. That's not what I'm hearing when I'm with the dolphins. It's more imagery, like a movie, like images that are sent. And so I use that type of communication with them. And I think it's developed in me because I do a lot of guided meditation. Like I lead a lot of guided meditations as well. So I have a very strong capacity to summon images. My imagery is very strong. My imaginative language is very strong. So I can really focus and concentrate on an image and then project that outward, which is what I do to communicate with the dolphins. So I kind of visualize the events that have happened in my life and I project them into the water. I sometimes also just talk to them. Like I open my mouth and I talk in the water, and it's just fun because they love it. They love to communicate with us. They love to connect. They love to feel us. They love to, swim with us. They love to play with us. So that are other types of communication. So play is one of the types that they communicate in. So they can invite you to play with them. They can invite you to swim with them. And it's really like a dance in the water. And I think this is the type of communication that most people are familiar with. Like it's the proximity to the dolphin. Like they will invite you into their dance, into their swimming, into their field, which can take a bit of time. So this is also something that I tell people who come on dolphin trips with me. Maybe the first day or even the second day, the dolphins won't come straight up to you. It's like human beings, really. Like we like to also know who we're dealing with before opening up and sharing our whole lives with them. And they can really do the same. So they sometimes stay at a distance at first until they've like sensed the energy of a person, and then they will come closer to a person. What I find also very strong with the dolphins is that they are emotionally so intelligent. Like I've seen it time and time and time again. They really adapt to the person they're dealing with. Like there's always people in groups who are more afraid to go into the water, who are more afraid to go and swim with the dolphins. They are big mammals, and even though it's completely safe to go and swim with them, it can be a bit intimidating the first time you go in the water if you're not accustomed to seeing them, to swimming with them. They will always adapt to make people feel at ease. They will give people what they need, really. I've seen people who were very closed down, sad, who were lacking play, who were lacking joyfulness in their life, and they were like invited by the adolescent dolphins to come and play and to really open them up to play. There were people in the group who needed care more than anything, who needed softness, who needed kind energy. And they would be approached by some of the older dolphins, some of the calmer dolphins, sometimes the mama dolphins, and they would just very calmly swim alongside them. One of the ways in which a dolphin will connect to you is by swimming alongside you and looking into your eyes. Like with their eye, they look into your eyes and they connect in that way. And when you spend a moment like that, swimming alongside a dolphin, I tend to forget where I am. I tend to forget that I'm swimming, even though sometimes we're swimming really fast. It starts to feel effortless, almost like they're taking you along, and you don't have to do that much effort to be with them. But it can also feel, when you're looking in each other's eyes, there's this really deep connection, and the world around you just disappears. It really feels like they look into your soul. I feel that they can really sense and feel how a person is doing, how a person is feeling, not only physically, because of course they have sonar. So dolphins can scan a person. They scan their environment, but they can also scan a person. They pick up on illness. They pick up on distortions in the body, whether this is an illness or an energetic distortion. They can pick up on the emotional states of a person as well, the energetic state of a person. And I feel that their presence and their energy and what they create really creates a field of healing, a field of regeneration. And because we're in the sea as well, we meet them in the sea, of course, we meet them in their element. The sea is like the primordial waters. We're all born from the waters, so it's the element that we have in common. So when we go and swim with the dolphins, when we go and meet them, it's like we return into this original state of being, and a lot is reconnected in that state of being. Like we reconnect to our essence, but we also receive a lot of healing in that space. And that's another thing that I've noticed that the dolphins do, is not only have I seen them communicate with their sonar and their telepathic capacity to communicate, they also, to me, are healers. And I feel that they're doing this intentionally. So sometimes instead of language, or instead of communication through behavior, like play, they will start projecting what I see and what I sense, geometrical shapes in the water. geometrical shapes in different colors sometimes, and they are like healing shapes. I feel that they send out an energy of harmony, or they create a field of harmony to allow the people swimming in that field or bathing in that field to reconnect to a state of harmony, physical, mental, and energetic harmony. So I've seen them do this several times. Sometimes the whole pod of dolphins like circles around the group of swimmers. And when they do that, really it creates like a vortex of energy. Very often as well, when they do this, it's paired with a lot of whistles. And the whistles, the sounds that the dolphins make as well, they can really, you can feel them vibrate through the body. To me also, they're like very harmonious frequencies. We know that sound realigns the body. We know that frequency is used for healing. We know that we are frequencies, and that our body, our being sends out different frequencies according to if we are ill, if we are in good health, if our mind is well. If we are feeling happy, we send out a different energy, we send out a different frequency. And the sounds and the frequencies that they send really realign the being to a state of joy and to a state of harmony, and I also feel a state of health. So that are some of the ways in which they communicate. Play, as I said, is an important one, and some of the examples I can give, well, I already gave one example of young dolphins coming to seek out people in the group and inviting them into their play, inviting them to dive down with them and go swimming really fast with them. There are other instances in which dolphins will pick up a toy. Like this can be a piece of seaweed, or it can be a jellyfish. There are non-toxic jellyfish in the Red Sea, these little purple jellyfish. And they will pick a jellyfish and use it like a ball, basically, and toss it around, throw it to each other. But they can invite you into that play as well. Like they can throw the jellyfish to you, or they can throw the piece of seaweed to you to invite you to grab it and then throw it back to them. Of course, it's a lot harder for us to do because we are not as aerodynamic as the dolphins are. And it was very surprising, I must say, the first time this happened to me, that a dolphin threw this jellyfish towards my head. And I thought, oh, is he like angry with me? And then I understood through his behavior that he was inviting me actually to play, and that they were doing this amongst each other. Like we would play soccer, really. The mamas are very touching as well, the mother dolphins. They hold a special place in my heart. Often when I get there, there will be new babies. And the mother dolphins are very proud of their babies. And they like to show them. And the babies are very curious, and they very often want to meet people. What will happen often is that a mama dolphin and her baby dolphin will come and swim next to you. Like the mother will be next to you and the baby on the other side, so that the mother can just make sure that it's safe, that it's okay, that you have like good intentions. And then after a while of swimming together, the three of you, and like the baby will try to get on the other side several times, and the mother will keep getting in between. After a while, she will just swim away and give the okay to her baby or to her child to go and play with you. And it's the cutest thing to have a baby dolphin come up to you and say hi and want to play with you and talk to you. It's very endearing, and it's very heart-opening, of course. I've had a lot of pregnant dolphins come up to me and show me their bellies. So this is also something that happens, and that shows me that they communicate amongst each other in a way. Of course they communicate amongst each other, but they actually tell each other stories. They share information on what happened, and they remember things that happened. Of course, that was already clear to me because I can see that they recognize me. I can see that they recognize certain people who have come a couple of times already. But another surprising thing that started happening is that a couple of years ago, one dolphin called me to the side. Like, they can make very clear that they want you to follow them. So I followed this dolphin, and the time before that this happened, this dolphin led me away from the group of dolphins and the group of swimmers, and led me to another dolphin who was at the bottom of the sea. And this dolphin felt very tired. It felt and it looked like it was exhausted. So his friend had come to look for someone to help this dolphin. So I did what I can do, and I think they sense what people are able to do. And so I gave this dolphin some energy healing, like what they would do. I gave him frequency healing. And I stayed with this dolphin for a while, like 15, 20 minutes. And after a while, he started moving, and he moved away, and he swam faster and faster. And later in the day, I saw him again. He was doing very well. He was swimming with a pod. This time, another dolphin came and found me and took me out of the group. And again, we went to another dolphin. And this dolphin was swimming fine and looked very healthy. I didn't see anything wrong with it. So I said, okay, I'm here, but what do you want from me? I don't feel that you need healing. I don't feel that you're ill. And what this dolphin then did is it flipped around. It flipped on its back to swim with its belly up under me. And what I could see at that moment was that this dolphin was pregnant. So they have a bump on the belly when they're pregnant, so you can see which dolphins are pregnant. So I said, okay, well, what I can do is I do healing, I do rose healing, I do baby blessings. I've done rose blessings and healings for pregnant women. So I said, well, I can offer this. I can give you a baby blessing. I can give you like a rose blessing for the baby. And she stayed. So I took that as a yes. I did the blessing, and I was able to finish like the whole process, the whole protocol I would do on a woman, on a human being. And just at the moment that it was finished, she left. She thanked me. She went back to the group of dolphins. I went back to the group of dolphins and the group of swimmers as well. But then this started happening again. It started recurring. And not only the same week I was there, not the same time period, but also the next year and the year after that. Every time I went back, and still today, at some point, there will be several pregnant dolphins who will come and they will swim under me, and they will ask me for a baby blessing or for a healing. So I find that so touching and such a testament to their intelligence, and also to the fact, which is something that I find really important and that I really take into groups. When I take groups of people to meet the dolphins and to swim with them, is to open everyone up to this capacity to communicate with them. And through meditation and different preparations, we prepare ourselves and we put ourselves in a harmonious state of being as well before we enter into the waters. There are different ways in which we can harmonize our energy, but also communicate with them. And also, I find we receive so much from them every time, and I know that they're very beautiful, generous beings. But we receive so much healing, and I can see it in the people who come for a week to swim with the dolphins. It's amazing the change that occurs between the first day and the last day on the boat. People not only get a glow up, like people glow, they radiate after a week in that environment. And it's not only the seawater, it's not only the sun, it's not only the relaxation and the change of environment, but it's actually being in the energy of the dolphins and receiving all their healing energy and reconnecting to the capacity to play, the capacity to have fun, to enjoy themselves. It's very heart opening. Again, I can see that people's hearts open, their solar plexus is activated with all the joy that they are experiencing. So there's a real opening in everyone, and you can see it in the faces. Like when people arrive on the boat and when they leave, their face is different. Their eyes are more open, there's more light in their eyes. Their faces are more open, there's a softness and there's a glow that comes from inside, really. So it's an experience from which we receive a lot. And I also want us to give something in return, like to really express our gratitude to them for doing this, for being there, for being these, what I feel, masters on planet Earth of unity consciousness, of this awareness and this consciousness that we are part of this big weaving, this enormous web of life in which we all have a role to play, and that we can actually, through our being, make this whole weaving more harmonious. This is what they teach us. By being in joy, by being in a space of love, we make the weaving of life more harmonious. So I also really ask from everyone in my groups, and I do the same, is to express our gratitude to them and maybe offer some healing if we feel like it, or maybe it's a song, maybe it's play, maybe it's our smile, maybe it's our joy that we want to share with them. But I feel that it's important that there's some reciprocity in the process as well. So those are some of the ways in which I have experienced dolphin communication. And there are many more anecdotes that I could tell you about. But for anyone who's already experienced meeting the dolphins, I'm sure you have beautiful stories as well. So if you'd like to share those, I invite you to post them underneath this video. And for anyone, of course, who's interested in joining a dolphin trip, you can go on my website. I will also post the link below. And if you liked my sharing, then please like this video or like my channel. It will allow me to make more videos and to share more with you as well. But anyway, I wish for everyone to have the opportunity to meet the dolphins, and more than that, to learn from them and to live also when we're on the land, when we're not in the waters, when we're not in their company, to live in the consciousness of the dolphin, which is to live in an open-hearted, joyful, and very generous way.